The night had already been long for Ian, a single father who had learned to carry exhaustion the same way others carried briefcases, quietly, without complaint. He worked double shifts at a small repair garage, and tonight he was only at the hotel restaurant because he had delivered a car nearby and promised his little daughter, Noor, a rare treat, her favorite bowl of chicken soup. He never imagined that just a few hours later, he would save a stranger who would change his entire life, but as destiny often walks in unannounced, it entered the restaurant dressed in a crimson gown, breathing in panic, and trying to hide tears beneath elegant makeup. The woman looked glamorous, confident, and wealthy at first glance, but her trembling hands told another story. Ian noticed the moment her necklace clasp broke. It slipped toward the floor, and she stumbled, gasping softly, clutching her neck as if she couldn't breathe. People saw, but no one moved. Yet Ian, without thinking, rushed toward her. He steadied her shoulders, gently fixing the broken clasp with fingers used to repairing engines but careful enough to handle something far more fragile, another human being's moment of vulnerability. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and good people still existing in this world, please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Your support helps stories like this reach more hearts. The woman calmed slowly, drawing in shaky breaths as Ian helped her sit. Despite the elegant gown and diamond earrings, she looked painfully alone. But before he could even ask if she was okay, a sharply dressed man approached, someone who seemed like he belonged to a world Ian had never stepped into. He whispered urgently to her, and she left quickly, almost running. Ian didn't chase. He simply returned to his daughter, brushing it off as another moment life tossed his way without explanation, but that night lingered in his thoughts long after Noor fell asleep on his shoulder in the bus ride home. Something in the woman's eyes, a mixture of fear, gratitude, and exhaustion, echoed the loneliness he carried inside. Yet he pushed the thought aside. His life didn't have space for mysteries, only responsibilities. Days passed. Bills piled up, rent reminders slipped under the door, and Noor's school fees stared at him like unanswered questions. He tried smiling through it all, reminding himself that one day, things would get better. They had to. Noor deserved that. Then, exactly 5 days after the restaurant incident, a black luxury car rolled to a stop outside his small, worn-out apartment complex. It looked absurdly out of place among cracked walls and rusted balconies. The neighbors peeked from windows, whispering, while Ian froze with a wrench still in his hand. From the car stepped a man in a tailored suit, tall, polished, and carrying an air of authority that seemed almost unreal. He walked straight toward Ian and asked his name with surprising politeness. Then he said something that made Ian's breath catch in his chest. "My employer wishes to speak with you." Confused, hesitant, and slightly worried, Ian followed. The back door of the car opened, and there, sitting inside, was the same woman he had helped at the restaurant. But tonight, she didn't look frightened. She looked hopeful. And grateful in a way that made Ian's heart thump uncomfortably. She explained that she hadn't been choking that night from the necklace. She had been on the verge of a panic attack, overwhelmed by business pressure, family expectations, and a life lived behind expensive smiles. She had been in the middle of negotiating a deal her father had forced on her, right there in that restaurant, when she stepped away to breathe. And when the clasp broke, she simply shattered. "You were the only one who noticed," she said softly. "The only one who cared. I haven't forgotten." Only now Ian realized who she truly was, not just a wealthy woman, but the heir to a large business empire, the kind of person whose life touched headlines, whose decisions affected thousands. And standing there in her presence, he felt painfully aware of his worn clothes and calloused hands, but she didn't look at him with pity. She looked at him like he was someone who had saved not just her from embarrassment, but a moment she could have drowned in. She asked about Noor, about his job, his struggles. Somehow, Ian found himself opening up, not with complaint, but with honesty. She listened as if every word mattered, and he hadn't felt heard like that in years. Then came the moment that left him speechless. She offered him a position as a personal vehicle specialist, maintaining her company's fleet, with stable pay, benefits, and flexible timing so he could take care of Noor. She said it wasn't charity. It was an opportunity she believed he had earned. And more importantly, she wanted Noor to grow without the shadows of financial fear. Ian didn't answer immediately. The weight of pride, responsibility, and disbelief pressed on his chest. Could he accept something from someone he barely knew? But then Noor peeked from the doorway of their building, calling Baba in her tiny voice, and the decision became clear: life wasn't offering him luck. It was offering him a hand he had once offered someone else. He accepted. The days that followed were a slow, beautiful transformation. Ayan worked with dignity and skill. Noor attended school without worry. And the woman, whose name he learned was Zara, became a presence that filled the empty spaces in their lives. She spent time with Noor, listened to Ayan's stories, and slowly uncovered a warmth she had hidden beneath layers of wealth and expectation. And though Ayan tried to keep boundaries, something inside him softened each time Zara smiled at Noor as if she were a little sunbeam in her life, or each time Zara thanked him for small acts of kindness no one had ever noticed before. But the moment that truly broke him was when Zara visited their home again one evening, kneeling to Noor's height and giving her a small, wrapped box. Inside was a sketchbook, crayons, and a note: "Every artist deserves a canvas." Ayan's eyes stung unexpectedly. No one had cared for his daughter that way except him. If this story touched your heart even a little, please make sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Your support helps us continue creating stories filled with love, hope, and humanity. Before the story ends, please comment below: kindness lives forever. As the sun set behind the city skyline, Ayan realized something profound. He had saved a stranger one night, not knowing she would save him back in ways beyond money, beyond opportunity, beyond anything he expected. And sometimes, life doesn't change through miracles. It changes through moments when someone simply chooses to care, and this time, the universe chose him.